Welcome to today's video. I forgot to do the roundup of 2021 for sunscreen, and I'm beginning to step back into Sunscreen Saturday. I think I'm going to have a couple of skincare things too. So Saturdays will be sunscreen or skincare. You know, for a little while we're going to investigate some things. But last night I was thinking, what did I do last year, and what were my favorites last year? So for the past 2 years I've been doing Sunscreen Saturday. If you have missed any of my reviews, you can take a look here, I will link it, or you can just go to my main page, hit playlists, find the playlist that says Sunscreens, and there you have it. I think I have like 36 sunscreen reviews. What I'm looking for in sunscreen is something that doesn't irritate my skin. I have a sensitivity to zinc. Sometimes foundations with zinc don't work for me. Once in a while they do. It just depends on the formulation. I'm looking for something that doesn't feel thick and uncomfortable or sticky, or like it's sealing off my skin and I can't breathe. I'm looking for something that is elegant with my foundations. So I want everything to kind of seamlessly blend together. I think that's what we all want, and it has to work with my skincare. If things start to pill, it's a no, because my skincare is going to stay the way it is. I really like my skincare routine. I prefer foundations that are somewhat moisturizing over things that are just thick and gooey and greasy. I want a little hydration. I want to feel like it's doing good things for my skin as opposed to bad things for my skin. I think what I want is very similar to what most people want, but what I'm willing to go through to get it might be a little different. I don't want to put on a little and then wait for 5 minutes, and put on a little and then wait for 5 minutes. It has to go on, it has to work, and it has to be right away. So, did I get much of that last year? Let's take a look. So last year and every year, I look at mineral sunscreens and non-mineral sunscreens, chemical sunscreens. I prefer a chemical sunscreen. I find they're more elegant, they're easier, they don't make my skin itch. But I know that there's many people out there who prefer minerals, so I look at both. The best sunscreen is a sunscreen you put on your face. And if you're not in the sunscreen habit yet and you buy something that is just not cosmetically elegant, I can see how you would be like, maybe I'll skip sunscreen today. I'm only going to be out for a few minutes. And I once had a sunscreen that I loved so much, I couldn't wait to put it on in the morning. Now, I'm not at that place now, and that sunscreen is no longer being made, but if you find a sunscreen that you like, that you enjoy putting on, or that at least doesn't make you crazy, that's a sunscreen you're going to put on your face. And sunscreen is your #1 anti-aging ingredient. You can never start too early, and you can never start too late. If you're my age and you haven't been doing it, start now. Don't give up. But if you're in your teens or your 20s or your 30s, it's time to start getting in the habit of wearing sunscreen, and that's why I'm here, to show you what I think of the sunscreens that I've been trying. So let's get into the sunscreens that I looked at last year. Sunscreens are kind of hard to find because there's nobody who says new sunscreen release, New makeup releases, you can find that on Instagram, but for sunscreens, it's kind of hard to keep up on, and especially if you're not looking for a Sephora option, I find that you don't have to spend a lot of money on sunscreen. Doesn't mean that you won't, doesn't mean that you won't choose not to, but you don't have to. So oftentimes I'm looking at someone else's video and they bring something up and I thought, okay, let's give me a try. Let's give it a try. And Dr. Tarte, every Sunday. I was putting this on and I thought, yeah, I like this. This is decent, and I love the scent. It has a citrusy scent. And I thought, let me just check the ingredients to make sure it's actually fragrance, which I'm not thrilled about fragrance, and not citrus oils. And it was actually citrus oils. And citrus oils and the sun are not two things you want to put together. You can actually burn yourself with citrus oils. Like if you got lemon juice or lime juice on your leg and you were outside getting sun, you can get a burn that won't go away for a really long time. It'll leave a scar. So why on earth would you put actual citrus oils in a sunscreen? I do not know. I do not know. So this was a fail for me, although I don't mind the formula too much. I kept it because I'm going to mix it with other things or wear it on days when it's raining or where I'm pretty much inside all day. But as we get into spring and summer, this will absolutely not be something that I'll be putting on my face. Now that was recommended by Angie. Also recommended by Angie is the Dr. G Green Mild Up Sun. Now this one I've used a little bit more, but not because I like it. I think I've been using this on my chest or I've been mixing it with something. This is also a mineral, but I don't like the way this feels. It feels like it has a little too much slip, almost like it's greasy, but it doesn't feel like it's moisturizing my skin. So it's an odd feeling that it leaves on my skin that I'm just not really super comfortable with. So for me, this one is also a no. Tower 28 Sunny Days. I think this product is confused. Foundations come in 1 fluid ounce and sunscreens come in 2 fluid ounce. This is a general rule. This is 1 fluid ounce, so it's saying it's a foundation just by its packaging. But they're saying that it's a tinted sunscreen. Now as far as tinted sunscreens go, what's great about this is there are a lot of colors and it's not one universal color, a color that's going to work for a very small minority of people. This is something that you could put it on and actually wear it as your foundation, I guess, but they're pricing it as a foundation and packaging it as a foundation, not as a sunscreen. If this were a sunscreen, it would be a very expensive one because generally you're looking for 2 ounces, which would mean it'd be doubling its price. So that's something to think about. I don't find it uncomfortable, but I do find that if you actually use a 1/4 teaspoon, which is what you need to use to get the SPF that is on the packaging, it doesn't look that great. And it takes a while to set down. So I think this would be something that maybe you would put on part of your regular sunscreen and then put this on top of it, which automatically makes this something that's fussy, and I don't want to really deal with fussy. I think it's confused. I think it's almost there, but it's kind of not. At the end of the video, I should have said this earlier, towards the end of the video I'm going to go over the 4 that I really love and then we'll break down what the ingredients are and you'll understand why I love them a little bit more, but this is one of them. This is the Isntree Hyaluronic Acid Watery Sun Gel. Now, I tend to like things that are called watery sun gels, which is usually Korean, sometimes Japanese. I think actually Asian in general. They tend to feel very hydrating for me and a little bit moisturizing. This one doesn't actually feel hydrating or moisturizing to me. I wish that it had a little bit more of that feeling, but I still really, really like this. I feel that it sets up quite quickly. Foundation goes over it very nicely. It doesn't feel heavy on the skin. It doesn't feel sticky on the skin. So we'll get into this a little bit later with the ingredients, but this for me was a really big win. I was turned on to 2 elastins this year, the regular mineral, which was the second one I got, and this is the Hydra Tint, which is the first one I got. So last year, I got a couple of RF in the doctor's office, RF radio frequency on my face to help tighten this stuff up. And I didn't do a review on it because it's really inconclusive for me. And I didn't get any footage or anything like that. But if you're interested in hearing what I think about RF, let me know. But after each session, they put a sunscreen on me at my request, and this is what they put on. And I remember looking in the mirror saying, this is really, really pretty. Now, mind you, they didn't put on a 1/4 teaspoon, but still, even with a 1/4 teaspoon, it's very, very pretty. And I was kind of obsessed with this. I just put it on, put it on, put it on. At the end of the day, I feel that it's a teeny bit, just a teeny bit too dark for me. I like it better in the summertime. It's a little closer to my skin tone. I do wish they had another color, but this looks beautiful on the skin. It's the kind of tinted sunscreen you could, if it's a good color for you, put on a little blush, It could be your makeup. It is what the Tower 28 is trying to be, but if you wear this a quarter teaspoon, it will look okay, where that one doesn't. But the Tower 28 has other colors. Also, notice that this is, 2 ounces. So this is one that I really, really enjoy, and I really liked the white one as well. I didn't bring it out. That does have a thickness to it. This one is not as thick as the white one. They both feel moisturizing on the skin, but they both don't feel like they're suffocating my skin. Love them both, but the tint stands out. Also in tinted sunscreens are, this one I haven't even opened, the Dermatology Universal Tinted Moisturizer 40, looks like 46. And I have another one that is slightly different packaging. I think it's silver. And this is the first tinted moisturizer that is mineral that, well, I found it before this. I really, really like this. It's kind of similar to the Elastin. They both look very nice on the skin. They're both tinted. Neither of them feel drying. I'm not reactive to either of them, so I don't like zinc. With this, I don't have any problems with it. I don't get that itchy skin. But this is a little too dark for me as well. And it's, to me, it's a little bit darker than the Elastin. But this is a big win for me. The Color Science Unforgettable. There's a lot of people who really, really like Color Science. And I think they were one of the first brands to come out who were just focused on sunscreen, and they came out with the powder. I think they were the first one to do powder. This is my first experience with Color Science. The color was wrong, and I have to blame them a little bit because they didn't really describe it very well. And they said if you don't know, go lighter, and this is really light. The idea behind this is there's little beads in here of color, and as you rub it into your skin, that color comes out. And I suppose the idea is this is your foundation, right? Just like this one and the Elastin, that kind of a thing with, I don't know, the kind of trumped up, oh, look at the beads, it's like skin-fortainment. Entertainment, skin-fortainment. I'm probably saying that wrong. But I don't like the way this feels on the skin. This is one of those things that, to me, it feels heavy on the skin. I just want to show this to you. I do have some makeup on my hand. Now, of course, you are going to put this on a lot more than I put it on, but it just has a thickness to it, even though there's hardly any that I put on here. And you'll see, there's the color. The color would go with my hands, but I'm pressing so hard, by the way. I'd never press this hard on my face. But there's a stickiness to it I don't like. And remember, I just put a teeny bit on. You put a quarter teaspoon of this on. It's going to feel, for me anyway, it just feels, even now with that little bit, it has drag on it. It feels heavy to me. Not sticky, but heavy and kind of cloying. So this was a fail for me. I don't enjoy the feeling of this on my skin. Who doesn't love a sample? I do. So I tried the Dr. Dennis Gross. I think this is called Dr. Dennis Gross All Physical Lightweight Wrinkle Defense. And as I seem to recall, I didn't look at my old videos, but you should. I seem to recall that this had a filmy, slippy thing to it, very much like the Dr. G. Not that they are the same or feel the same, but that weird thing that I don't like. It feels like I put my makeup on, it'll slide off my face. It feels a little suffocating to me. I don't care for that feeling, and I'm pretty sure that is what this one did for me. And then there's Peter Thomas Roth, Water Drenched Hyaluronic Moisturizing SPF. So this is more of a hydrating kind of formula, and I don't remember not liking this. So here it is, it's kind of, fluffy, right? And it blends in well, not a problem. I don't think I disliked it like the Dr. Dennis Gross. I kind of disliked it. It was just, it didn't knock my socks off. But I have to say I kept these because I want to revisit them, because this might be something I might be interested in later on this year and, get something new. I will say just feeling it on my hands, even though it's called Water Drench, it doesn't have the feeling that couple of my favorite Asian sunscreens that are no longer being made had, and that was they felt kind of watery and they felt like they sunk into the skin and they didn't leave a film of any kind. And this feels like it starts that way, but then it kind of does feel like there's a moisturizer on my face rather than something sinking in. All right, one I can't show you because I threw it away is the Garnier Green Labs Canna B. I did not realize that this was for oily skin, so I was like, yeah, it kind of feels tightening. It kind of feels a little drying. If you have oily skin or if you have normal to oily skin and you're looking for a drugstore option, that might be one that you want to try. I don't remember anything else other than I'm not digging the feeling of this. I don't remember if it's scented, what my thoughts were, but take a look at my review if you fall into that oily to normal to oily area. So one I threw away, actually a couple I threw away, and this one I returned because it was Sephora. It is from Sept and it's called Sun Visor. This is a hot mess. Hot mess. First of all, just like the Tower 28, it's not in 2 ounces, it's in 1 ounce as I recall, but don't hold me to it. It is a greasy, icky mess, and my skin is on the dry side. I don't care how dry your skin is. I find it hard to believe if you were putting on the correct amount, a quarter teaspoon, that any skin type would find this enjoyable. Truly, I'm not exaggerating. If you're not putting on the right amount, then 1, you're not getting the sunscreen protection, and 2, maybe it won't bother you so much. I wore this a couple of times, and I remember wearing it once when I was meeting a friend of mine to walk our dogs. So we're walking in an area that's unpaved. And my dog, it's not like she's kicking up a lot of dirt. You know, she doesn't run that much unless there's food involved. But her dog does. And it wasn't a windy day or anything, but it was hot. I was wearing a hat. I was wearing the Sept. And I found that when I got in the car afterwards and touched my face, there was grit. Like all the dust, if there's any pollen in the air, there's any, you know, if you live in an area where there's things flying around in the air, it's going to stick to your face. And that probably doesn't look good. My eyesight's so bad, how would I know? But it definitely doesn't feel good. It's like, ew, all this grime of the world is sticking on my face because this is like an oily, greasy piece of tape on your face, but the tape's going outwards. It's so shiny, and you know what? I think I powdered it, and still stuff stuck to my face, including the powder. It's just no. Neutrogena Invisible Daily Defense. This is, first of all, I think it's for body, but I can't really read it because I'm blind and because they have the white print on top of a pastel color. So I thought, okay, I'll get this. And I don't think I realized it was for body until after I did the video. Look, when I saw this at Target, I was like, oh, peach and pink and yellow and pastels. I'm a girly girl. These are the kind of colors that excite me. I mean, all colors excite me, honestly. I love the fall colors too. But I'm like, yeah, it's so tutti frutti. What I wasn't expecting is that it smells like tutti frutti. It is nauseating to me, this scent. I don't mind a little sweet. I personally have a sweet tooth, and I don't have anything against fruit. But to me, fruit should smell like fruit. And that's pretty much it. Perfume shouldn't smell like fruit, and sunscreen shouldn't smell like fruit, and nothing else should smell like fruit. I don't want fruit on my face. Yeah, no, I don't want fruit on my face. It's really, really nauseating. What's interesting is I don't mind this formula. It is lightweight. It is non-greasy and non-drying. But I don't want it anywhere near my face. But I do understand that the serum of this isn't scented, and I do have that. I had it for a long time, and I've been meaning to do a video, and that will be in our next series. Now let's get to the 4 favorites for me this year. Now, one of the favorites was actually in December, so it didn't really make it in 2021. I reviewed it at the end of 2020, but I still use it all the time. But first, let's get into both of these. The Elastin has titanium dioxide at 8.9%, and it has zinc oxide at 3.4%, which could be one of the reasons why I don't have a problem with it. It has more titanium than zinc. This also contains glycerin, which is a humectant, squalene, which is a skin identical, tocopherol, and camellia sinensis leaf, blah, 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 which is green tea, which is an antioxidant. And I really enjoy the way this feels on the skin and how it makes the skin look. Same thing here. This one is zinc 10%. So I'm really surprised this doesn't irritate me. Titanium dioxide at 5.5%. Also glycerin and hyaluronic acid and tocopherol. So some similar ingredients in these two. And then we have the Isntree hyaluronic acid watery gel. This I've written over here, but I didn't write it big enough. Isntree, the active ingredients are ethyl hexyl salicylate, homosalate, and polysilicon 15. Those are traditional chemical blockers that are approved in the United States by the FDA. Then it has tinosorb S, tinosorb N, and juvenile A+. Those are things that are approved everywhere in the world but the United States and I think Canada. And these are the next generation chemical blockers that are far more stable than the ones that we have approved here. So they don't break down as quickly as the ones we have in the United States. They make for more stable and for more comfort. I know some people find that they get irritated by chemicals, but I haven't heard anybody say they get irritated by those chemicals. Also in here is, of course, hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, adenosine, which is a skin, oh, I always forget, is this a skin communicator or the skin identical? Tocopherol and Centella asiatica. Centella asiatica is very good for soothing skin that is a little aggrieved. And I love this one. I use it all the time. And another one that I use all the time is the Can Make Mermaid Sun Gel. This one is $10. This is what I mean. You know, go to Sephora and spend $30 or $40 or $60, or you can get something like this for $10. So you don't feel bad about protecting your skin. I really, really like this. This is like the Isntree in the sense that they don't feel moisturizing, and I wish that they did, but I can live with it because I moisturize my skin myself, and I do live with it, and these are the things that I'm using the most right now. So this one is interesting because it has minerals, and it has the next generation filters, and it has one traditional filter as well. So there's tinosorb S in this, there's juvenile A+, there's zinc and titanium dioxide, and there is octinoxate. Also, sodium hyaluronate, which is a humectant, and arginine. And I get arginine and adenosine mixed up. One is a skin identical, and one is a skin communicator. Both of them are fantastic ingredients to have. And that's going to wrap up today's video, you guys. These are the 4 things I love, and people ask me all the time, what are your favorites? I have to say, because the colors of the tinted ones only work for a small window of time, these are my 2 favorites. Love them, wear them the most. They work great with my foundation. They don't irritate my skin. They don't dry me out. If you have normal skin, I think you're going to like these. And it might even work for oily skin because they don't have that creaminess about them. They hydrate, but they're not throwing a lot of oils at your skin. Really, really love these and use these the most of anything that I have. And that is going to wrap up today's video, you guys. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I hope this was helpful to you. I hope you're wearing sunscreen or on your search for sunscreen and you're protecting your skin from the sun and aggressors. And I hope you come back again. Until we meet again, be safe and smart, and I'm wishing you good health.